Hi, welcome back to another author show and tell. Today we're talking to best-selling author of the Vladimir Todd series, Z Brewer, who's going to show you one awesome thing in their house that I'm super jealous of. Stick around. Welcome back to another video, everybody. I'm Gaby Triana, author of the Haunted Florida series, Wake the Hollow, co-author of Paradise Island, a Sam and Colby story, and more. Today I'm excited to have with us Z Brewer, the New York Times bestselling author of the Chronicles of Vladimir Todd series, as well as the Slayer Chronicles series, Soulbound, the Cemetery Boys, The Blood Between Us, Madness, plus lots more short stories. So when not making readers cry because they killed off a character they loved, Z is an anti-bullying and mental health advocate, plus they have awesome hair, but I will let them do the talking, so here's Z Brewer.
Greetings, minions and future minions. I'm Piddling Z, otherwise known as Z Brewer, the author of the Chronicles of Vladimir Todd and like a million other books. And I'm really happy to be here today to tell you a really cool story about something that I own. You see, when I go out and I do appearances, I often share a story about when I was growing up. I was really terribly bullied, and I found solace in books, in libraries. I found like books were my friends, and I dive into stories and I would like lead different lives. It was amazing because I could escape all the horrible things in my life by living other characters' lives. And no matter how horrible their lives were, they were better than what I was going through. So I loved books growing up. Books saved me. And so one day I was 12 years old and I had just finished reading Carrie by Stephen King. It is fantastic. If you've not read it, you have to read Carrie. It's super scary. It's super cool. Plus, it's about a bullied teenage girl that kind of gets revenge on her tormentors with her freaky mind powers. So you can imagine how I related to this whole book. So I read Carrie and I closed the book. And it's the first time I ever said this out loud. I said, that's what I want to be. I want to be an author. It was so huge. It was like this big moment for me where I realized what I wanted to do, my big dream for my life. And it was incredible. So I was excited. I ran home to my mom and dad and I said, hey, I know what I want to do for the rest of my life. I know what I want to be. I want to be an author. And they said, you can't. It's not a real job. That's something rich people do in their spare time. That's something people with trust funds do. You can't do it. Get your head out of the clouds. Get your feet on the ground. You need a real job. I was heartbroken. Of course I was heartbroken. I had this huge thing happen to me where I knew this is what I want to do. This is the driving force for me. This is what's going to get me through. And they didn't support me. But that's okay, because I knew if I talked to my librarian, I knew she'd support me too. And so, well, not too, but she'd support me. But I went and I talked to her and I said, hey, look, here's the thing I want to do. I want to write books. I want to be an author. Can you help me? Can you tell me how to become an author? Because I don't know, how do you write books and get them to be on the shelf? What happens? How do you do that? And she said, oh, you can't. You can't be an author. It's just not realistic. And so I was told that it wasn't a real job by everyone around me, and heartbroken. And I let it go for a long time. I grew up as people do. Well, I grew older, not up, let's be honest. And then I was a stay-at-home parent for a long time. And then I got down to where my youngest was getting ready to start kindergarten. And I didn't know what I was going to do for the rest of my life as far as like work. Because I had only had like a job for like a week as a cashier, as a terrible cashier. And otherwise I'd done nothing work-wise other than be a stay-at-home parent, which is really the most important job. And so my husband was sitting there with me and I was talking to him and I said, what am I going to do? I don't have a college degree. I don't have any experience. What am I going to do? And he asked me an important question. He said, if you could do anything and money doesn't matter, what would you do? What would you be? And I said, I'd be an author. And then he said 3 words that changed my life forever. He said, so be one. And that's all it took. It took one person to believe in me. One person to tell me it's okay to try. It's okay to follow your dreams. It's all right. I'm here and I believe in you. And it is my great honor to be that one person for all of you. Go out, chase your dreams. I believe in you. I know with a lot of hard work and determination, you can make it happen no matter what that dream is. Now, I tell you this story to preface what it is that I'm about to show you. You see, a long time went by, and my favorite author, of course, is Stephen King. And my husband decided to pull off the most amazing gift I think he could ever pull off for me, but I expect him to try to top it. He actually got me a first edition hardcover copy of Carrie by Stephen King. It's incredible, and I love it so much. But it's not what I want to show you. You see, my husband, through a very long trial of events that I was not aware of until after he gave me the books, he kind of got it signed by Stephen King. Now, it is in my old name, but if you'll look down at the bottom, you can see that he says, P.S. I didn't have a trust fund either. So every time this sits on my bookshelf, and every time I look up at it, I think of two things. I think one, there is one person that still believes in me after all these years, and that he always will. And two, Stephen King didn't have a trust fund, and he's an author. Maybe I can keep being an author for another day. So anyway, that is my favorite object that I own in this world. I have other really cool stuff, including dirt from Bela Lugosi's grave, because that's kind of how I roll. But all the cool stuff I have, it doesn't matter when it comes down to this one book and that one moment and those 3 words. So be one. So I'm really happy to share that with you. Something else I wanted to share with you is that actually coming up very quickly here on October 6th, I have a new book coming out. And this is the arc for it. It's called Into the Real. I am so stoked about this book. It is really not just genre bending, but genre defying. It's got so many different genres all mixed together. We meet a person named Quinn. I say a person because this person is genderqueer. This person is reflected in 3 different worlds, but in one world they present as genderqueer, in one they present as female, one as male. And all 3 of those worlds are very, very different worlds, very horrific for very different reasons. And we dive into those worlds with Quinn, and we discover that there is something winding Quinn through each of these lives that pulls them together to search for their deepest truth. And it is fantastic in my personal, unbiased opinion. And it is the favorite of all of my books that I've ever written. I've also put the most time into this book. It took me 3.5 years to write it. And I hope that you will enjoy it and that you'll keep following along. And if you're new to the Minion Horde, of course, they are my fans. If you are new to the Minion Horde, welcome. And please join us. Head over to my website, zbrewerbooks.com. There's a link to our Discord. I'm on Instagram and Twitter, but you, the letter U, can call me Z. You can find me pretty much anywhere. And wherever you are, whatever you do, don't forget, I believe in you.
Okay, first of all, that was so beautifully inspiring. And second, how dare you have a signed copy of my favorite author's book dedicated just to you by the man himself with a personal PS that directly relates to the heartbreak you felt as an inspiring writer. And third, how cool are you? By the way, years ago when I owned a cake design studio called Cakes by Gaby, yes, I used to make cakes many years ago. Check it out online. I made Z a birthday cake of Vladimir Todd cover for the birthday and delivered it to Books and Books in Miami. So when I reminded Z of that, they said it was their favorite birthday cake ever, and they still talk about it to this day. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, Z. I feel like I need to watch that again and again and again until my tears run dry. This concludes Author Show and Tell for today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, share on social media, spread the love, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.